Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Mono Manny, who says, my boyfriend, 27 male, asked to borrow quite a huge sum of money from me, 24 female. How do I deal with this situation? We've only been dating for the last 4 months. Nothing too serious yet. He's going through a bit of a rough patch as he's lost his job earlier this month, but he already has a new job. He just has a few loan payments to pay every month, and since he's not receiving his salary this month, he's finding it difficult to arrange the money. I myself have been in a difficult financial situation for the last few years, and he's aware of it. I live paycheck to paycheck. I never have money to save. So I always make sure to pay my part during dates and have never asked to borrow money from him. The idea of wanting to borrow money from him wouldn't even come into my head, and now I'm afraid of continuing this relationship. This conversation was already so awkward. I wasn't able to refuse him. I said that I'll think about it. What if he asked to borrow money again in the future? I really can't afford to be in a relationship with someone like this. Not at the moment. I'm afraid I'm being too selfish. He's a nice guy nevertheless. Firstly, 4 months in a relationship and someone asking me to borrow a huge sum of money. I'm not sure how much that is at the moment, but I'm expecting a lot. But 4 months in and someone asking me that would make me side-eye them instantly. You know, if it was a small amount or whatever, I could maybe get it, but if asking for a huge amount, it would definitely feel off, especially if he knows your financial situation of living paycheck to paycheck at the same time. But it did make me wonder why you couldn't say no at the same time, that you were so uncomfortable you couldn't refuse in that moment, when the answer has to be no in this situation. But a commenter did ask, how much is quite a huge sum in this instance? Like a rough ballpark. He has what seems to be a consistently bad track record with money management, which makes this a bad idea. If he asks to borrow again, refuse again with the above reason. I already live month to month and I can't save money, therefore I can't give you a loan. I'd be questioning the compatibility here if he's asking for loans from you to cover loans he's already had to take out. That's like trying to stop a leak by throwing more water in. Opie says, well, according to the standards of where I live, it's more than half the amount of what I earn every month. Commenter replies saying, absolutely not. I kinda get why you told him you'd think about it because it was dumped on you with no warning, but enough time has elapsed that you should have no doubt. When you said the following, however, it's kind of alarming. I really can't afford to be in a relationship with someone like this. Not at the moment. This implies if you had the money, you'd give it to him. That is scary. After only a few months, nobody should be asking to borrow a large sum of money, and I'd call this a deal breaker. I have no idea why you'd worry you're being selfish when you said yourself you'd never do something like this. Opie says, yeah, you're right. I just wanted to be a good friend and not just a girlfriend. It was just very unexpected. Commenter says, after 4 months, that takes a lot of nerve. Girl, just tell him you don't have it. Does he not have other long-term friends or relatives he can borrow from? Or did he already burn those bridges? Opie says he said his sister helps him all the time, so he's a bit shy to ask her, and he's asked a few friends, but none of them responded. Commenter says to OP, you live paycheck to paycheck. You can't afford to say yes to any amount of money, much less a huge sum. You tell him that you can't afford it, you don't have it, and you can't make it appear like magic. It's also concerning that you aren't able to tell him no immediately. Are you afraid of him? Afraid of displeasing him? Are you a people pleaser, or has he done things that make you afraid of him? If you're a people pleaser, maybe get some therapy to work on this. If he's done things to make you afraid, this relationship needs to end. I understand he may feel desperate right now, but asking you, at 4 months in, for a substantial amount of money is a big red flag. Opie says, I don't know if I'm a people pleaser. I just want to be helpful. No, he hasn't done anything to make me afraid. He's mostly been nice to me. So OP did add their update and said, so I know it hasn't been long and hopefully some of you will remember my previous post. I refused to give him the money and told him that it felt a bit inconsiderate to ask for such a huge amount and That request has made me uncomfortable when we've only been together for 4 months. He said that I was an awful person for not being able to trust him, and if I had have asked him for money, he would have trusted me enough to give it to me. Now I've been blocked everywhere because my behavior seemed disrespectful to him, and I feel awful. I'm hurt, but I guess I have my answer. I find it a bit convenient that he says that he can, give you his imaginary money, if he would have had it, of course. But a commenter says, "Girl, dump this loser." Opie says, "Well, I think I'm the one who's been dumped." Commenter says, "You never let people borrow money, to be honest, especially not partner or family. Also, why is he mad? Why is he asking for money this early on?" Opie says, "That is what I wanted him to explain. Like, why did you expect me to loan you such a huge sum when we've only casually been together for 4 months?" And he said that amount of time wouldn't have mattered to him, but it does to me. But I couldn't trust him completely just yet, and he completely flipped out. He was mostly okay with me refusing to lend him the money. It's the reason for it that made him angry. I was just worried about what if he asked me for money again? How many times do I refuse him? Wouldn't it build resentment after a while? And it seems like he does regularly borrow money from friends, but how am I supposed to be sure about his financial habits? Would he pay me back completely? Would he pay little amounts over a long period of time? I have these questions because we barely know each other, and that's what I wanted to convey to him, that it was too early. That he thinks I'm a corrupted person and expects the worst of people. Commenter says to that, "I try to put myself in that person's shoes in those cases. Let's say you needed money and asked him, and let's say he said no. Would you do that and block him?" Opie says, "I have to tell you that I would never have asked him to lend me half his paycheck. I'd never even have the guts to request that from any person, let alone a guy that I've been casually dating for 4 months. And that's the boundary that I wanted to establish in this relationship. No lending or borrowing so early on. But yeah, hypothetically, if I had needed money and he had refused and explained to me that it was too early to be doing that, I'd have absolutely accepted it. No argument at all." And in the end, I think that's a good outcome for OP. It's one of those ones where they say the trash took itself out, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, before we do get into our next story, there is a warning on it of sudden death of a parent and spouse. So if you do want to skip the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. It's from Express Highway 7696, and it's from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. And it says, "Am I the arsehole here for not honoring my wife's dying wish?" Posting from a throwaway account. 6 years ago, my wife passed away after a short illness. The day before she passed away, it seemed as though she may pull through. She said to me, "If I die, you're not allowed to date." I laughed and promised I wouldn't. Both of my daughters were there when she said it. That night, things went horribly downhill, and she was gone by noon the next day. I spent the last 6 years raising my girls and finally sent my youngest off to college in August. I've been involved in a few support groups for people who have lost spouses for the last few years, and earlier this year, I really connected with a woman who lost her husband around the same time. I wasn't looking for a relationship, but we've been on a few dates and I've been trying to keep it concealed, at least in the meantime. We ended up going to a restaurant and our server was one of my older daughter's friends from high school. She must have called or texted my daughter because last night my daughter called to scream at me and basically told me I was cheating on her mother and had no right to dishonor a request of me. I'm pretty furious she called me like that, and I had to hang up and told her I'd call her in the morning when I've had some time to reflect. Now all I can think is of how horrible I am for this. I'm 45 years old and I need companionship, but I don't want my daughters to think I'm spitting on their mother's grave. My wife's sister also texted me to tell me that my wife's request was unreasonable and unfair, and that her family is not going to judge me if I move on, and she would talk to my daughter about it. I don't want to ruin my relationship with my kids over this, but I am so damn torn. Am I the arsehole here for not honoring her request? OP added an edit and said, "Wow, thank you for all the comments, and I want to clear up that when she said it, I did take it as a joke, and I think she was joking as well. The issue, as pointed out by a few, is that my kids were present and took it seriously. They were 14 and 12 at the time. She'd been hospitalized with severe pneumonia and had been on oxygen for 2 days. All signs were pointing to a full recovery, and it was during this time she made the statement. None of us expected her to go downhill so quickly overnight. To me, it sounds like daughters are going through something that's, coming from a place of grief and fear, that you moving on is probably you forgetting about her mum, which, I think is understandable, but also not fair to you at the same time. You deserve companionship just as much as anyone and love at the same time. And I really hope that your daughter talking to people, talking to you, having a calm conversation, and, understanding her feelings, but also recognizing that you're allowed to find that companionship for yourself at the same time. And it should be guilt-free. Because let's face it, no one's going to replace their mother or your wife at the same time either. But it was nice that the sister-in-law in this situation also had Opie's back. Someone in the comments was having a pop at the server for being malicious, and Opie replied saying her intent was not malicious. She's always been a good friend to my daughter, and I think it was probably, hey, I saw your dad on a date, so I'm so happy for him type of situation. I've never known her to be vindictive. Someone says, is your daughter autistic? Genuine question. Has she ever been tested? Opie says she has ADHD, but no formal diagnosis of autism, though it is suspected. And there was just many comments in support of OP on this, but, understanding the daughter's grief at the same time as well. But the update said, I called my daughter this morning and asked her if I can come to her campus for breakfast with her. She goes to school an hour away, so it isn't a bad drive. Apparently my sister-in-law did talk to her last night and told her she was being irrational and unfair and that I deserve to be happy. My younger daughter, who goes to school several hours away, also told my older daughter it isn't a big deal and I'm allowed to live my life. We had breakfast and walked around her campus for a few hours. We talked about her mum and how much we all loved her and missed her. We had some laughs and cries, and I told her I will never try to replace her mother, and anyone I date would have to get along with my girls. She is still upset, which I acknowledge, but she agrees it's unreasonable to expect me to go the rest of my life alone. She apologized for her reaction and genuinely felt bad that she acted that way. I suggested we go to therapy together to work some of this out, but she's really busy at school, so wouldn't be able to until winter break. I feel like I left with her understanding and really hope she won't hold this against me. I was not even looking for a relationship, especially at a support group. We met in March, went on our first date in July, and have only been on 3 more since. We have not even been intimate, so I'm not exactly sure where it's going. I appreciate all the responses and advice from everyone. And it's just really nice to see that they was able to talk this out, meet up face to face, have a chat, talk about the wife/mother, and work things out in a nice way. There's people talking about her age and she should be able to process this better, but in the end, we're human. We process this shit in different ways, and sometimes it is difficult and we don't process it in the best way. And grief can make us say and do wild things. It's not an excuse. Absolutely not. But it does. I'm glad that they was able to work this out as a family. It made me tear up in the middle there. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the r/advice subreddit from Odd Explorer 9345, and it says, boyfriend's mom invited me to be in family pictures, but my family says it's weird. Hi. So I, 20 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 20 male, for almost a year now. Our 1-year anniversary is next month. We're in a serious relationship. We've talked about marriage and both know that's where we're headed. His family does professional photos every other year, and this fall is when they're scheduled to do them again. His mum actually asked me to be in the pictures, which honestly made me really happy. I've been included in a lot of family things already. I've gone to his siblings' birthday parties, one of his brother's band concerts, a wedding reception, and I've met a bunch of extended family. It feels like I'm part of their circle, so I thought it was sweet that they want me in something special like family photos. Obviously, I understand that no relationship is 100% guaranteed, and there's always the chance we could break up, so I don't expect to be in every single photo they take. I know they do some with just their immediate family, and I think that's normal and totally fine. The problem is, when I mentioned it to my mum, she said, why would they want you in those pictures? My sister agreed it was strange, and my best friend said she sees both sides. She told me she dated her boyfriend for 3 years and he was never in her family's photos. but she also admitted that maybe that was a bit extreme. So now I'm kind of second guessing myself. I don't feel weird about being in the photos. We're serious and his mum invited me, so I feel like it's fine. But my family's reaction makes me wonder if I'm missing something. Is it actually unusual to be in your partner's family pictures after a year? Should I just enjoy being included, or should I be cautious about it? I know I'm going to say yes to being in them. I guess I just never thought about it in the perspective that my family and best friend have. I mean, I can only talk from my family's perspective here because I know every family is different, but I don't think that's weird in the slightest. Over the years in family photos, there's all sorts of partners that's been included within family photos, and we absolutely love it. If there's a new partner introduced to the family, they're automatically family to us. It's that simple, really. Unless they're a complete arsehole, obviously, but that's never really happened. But I am curious to know why they think it's strange, your family. But commenter says, do they truly think it's more appropriate to leave you out and make it clear you're not part of the family? There's more about your family than theirs. They totally exclude your boyfriend from family events. Opie says, it's crazy that you brought that up because I literally had a conversation about this with my mum yesterday. I've been telling her for a while that our family needs to update our family pictures because we all look so different now. And I said we should do some this fall. And she literally said, if we do some, he can't be in them. Commenter says, nah, if you're in a serious relationship, it's not weird. Your family is not as just open-minded as his is. If you like being part of his family, and it sounds like you do, enjoy the love and be grateful that your new family is a good one. Commenter says, even if it is weird, what's it going to hurt? There'll be a story to tell when they look back. Oh yeah, that was ex's girlfriend at the time. But that is just my perspective. And another commenter says, I think it's the sweetest thing that your boyfriend's mother invited you to be in the photos. It is an honor she bestowed on you. It would be sad, if not rude, to decline. Please accept, especially because that is what you have stated you want to do. So, OP updated the post and says, so we had the pictures today. And honestly, it went smoother than I expected. My boyfriend's mum basically took charge. She was kind of the boss of the whole thing, telling everyone where to stand and what combos to do. Since it was at a park, she had a list and moved us around a lot. I ended up being in almost all of the photos. The only ones I wasn't in were the sibling shots, but I was in everything else. At first I thought it was a little strange, but then it hit me that they really do see me as part of the family already. His mum even had us do specific combos like me plus boyfriend, me plus him plus brother and sister-in-law, me plus him plus both his parents, etc. So yeah, I was definitely included. Some people in the comments on my first post said I should step aside for some pictures. I didn't end up doing that. Honestly, with the way his mum was running things, it would have been super awkward if I suddenly refused to be in certain shots. It just wouldn't have fit the vibe. For those who have guessed surprise engagement, nope, not this time. Although I wouldn't have minded, lol. But overall, you guys were right. His family does see me as part of their circle, and after today, I really do feel that too. Some of you mentioned my mum might be a little jealous, and I can kind of see that. I think my life looks different from what hers did at my age, and she probably also doesn't want me to get hurt. In the end, I realized there isn't a universal right or wrong here. Every family handles this stuff differently, but I'm glad I said yes, and I truly appreciate all the advice and perspective you guys gave me on my original post. Again, for me, I think that's absolutely wonderful, and it just reminds me of my own family because, I'm thinking of my niece's husband now. And the first couple of times we met him at family events, shook hands, gave him a hug, whatever. But now when I meet him, I just look at him like family, just like a brother to me. And I think OP's absolutely spot on that everyone sees this kind of thing differently. But one of the comments says, I love that they included you, but it wouldn't be shocking if they took some without you as well. I see people on the Photoshop request sub all the time asking to remove someone's former partner from family photos. The fact that they know it's possible you won't be together forever and still chose to include you means they love and accept you, and that they're likely hoping you'll be his forever. That's worth remembering. And another commenter says, sounds like you handled it perfectly. Embracing their welcome shows you belong. Sometimes family worry comes from love, but it's great you're feeling included and confident. Keep trusting your gut. Another lovely story there, for me anyway. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you feel about it if it was you, maybe you feel maybe even slightly towards how OP's families feel. Let us know your thoughts and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Twitch over porn and says, my 29 female, boyfriend 28 male of 5 years has become infatuated with female Twitch streamers and it's making me feel like crap. So, I knew he was into video games when we started dating. I'm basically the opposite of him in that department. I've never been interested in anything video game related. That entire nerd culture is not for me. Mind you, I've made an effort to understand his hobby and over the years I've even found games I enjoy playing. I would definitely not consider gaming to be a hobby of mine. I play rhythm games like once a week for an hour at most, for example. In the beginning of the relationship, first couple of years or so, it was pretty difficult getting through to him because he was constantly on World of Warcraft. We had to set boundaries later on because I found he wasn't making any time for me and he was constantly on Twitch either watching or streaming himself or playing World of Warcraft or League of Legends or whatever else. It got pretty bad, but we worked through it. His obsession with Twitch kind of dwindled down and we were both seemingly happy. However, and I feel dirty even writing this, I feel worthless and absolutely disgusted and unwanted. Please don't judge me too harshly. One night before bed, as I was getting ready to lay down, he was watching a stream on his tablet of some famous, possibly, Twitch female streamer. I happened to glance over and she was pretty scantily clad, big nerd glasses, tits hanging out. I thought, whatever, it's just him watching a game. This went on for a few nights in a row. Each time it was a different girl. He'd watch for a bit, turn it off, and immediately want to have sex. I've secretly felt like shit over it. But I guess last night kind of broke the camel's back. He set up a stream, started coming on to me in bed, and left his tablet propped up on the night table. I was going along with his advances, but attempted to close the tablet when he told me, no, leave it on. I want to watch her while I do you. I was pretty much in shock. Didn't know how to respond. Started crying and left for the night. He didn't even really attempt to stop me. Got a half-assed sorry as I was leaving. Thankfully, my parents lived like 5 minutes away. So I spent the night there. Since I left, he's attempted to call twice and has texted me twice. One text was to tell me I'm overreacting. Am I? How do I approach this? I thought we were over it. I thought we had a decent relationship, but he clearly prefers watching women play video games over just having sex with me. Do I approach him or wait for him to approach me? Commenter says to OP, you're not worthless or disgusting. What your boyfriend did was extremely disrespectful and you're right to be upset. Watching scantily clad girls is one thing. Plenty of people like to watch porn or other similar things. What he's doing is basically using your body while he thinks of other people, which is pretty gross. Be firm with your boundaries. If he still brushes it off, then you should probably get a better boyfriend. Opie says yeah, which is why I feel like absolute shit. I don't think he realizes this, and to me, it seems like he sees nothing wrong with what he did. He's accused me of overreacting, and he's basically said that other guys probably do it, so it's fine. He's hinted at masturbating to this Twitch content before, not even porn. Do men actively masturbate to women playing video games? That seems odd to me, I don't know. I feel used and dirty. Miss Misfit says, what's really crazy is that he didn't even have enough respect to bring it up. Like of course my girlfriend won't mind being fucked while I look at another woman on my computer. I think it's pretty obvious that the second he gets one of these female gamers to show a bit of interest in him, he's out the door. Biff says, right? He even said, I want to watch her while I do you. Basically, I don't even have to acknowledge that it's you I'm having sex with. I want to pretend it's her. The audacity is astounding. He's lucky that crying was the extent of her actions. Another commenter says, yeah, I'm not sure that OP should hear this, but it seems like for him, this is just a step up from masturbating to Twitch girls. Now he gets to actually have sex, and all his imagination has to do is replace his real-life partner with the object of his infatuations. OP replies saying that crossed my mind. I'm okay with hearing it, like rationally I know that's essentially what happened. I guess I shouldn't even say I'm shocked, because I've been pretty sad about the whole relationship for a while, but I constantly hoped it would change like he promised so many times. Pretty stupid, huh? Commenter said to that, not stupid at all. Can't blame you for being positive and optimistic and wanting it to get better. Probably time to seriously consider whether you think this is fixable though. Opie says I pretty much mulled it over all night. After speaking with him over coffee, His response solidified everything, and I'm totally done with the relationship. I'm going to our, and she crosses that out and put his place, to pick up anything I can fit in my car. Thankfully the lease is up soon anyway, so I just won't be resigning. My parents are more than happy to have me stay for as long as I need to, but I'm already looking into apartments. I've officially resigned from the relationship. So Opie came in with her update and said last night I decided to get together for coffee with him, mostly because my mother urged me to. I never told her the extent of what exactly happened, but she knows it's video game related because we've gone over this problem before in the past. Anyway, I initiated the conversation via text and he agreed to meet me. I guess I don't know what I was expecting. Closure maybe? Because I was pretty sure I wanted to end it and stop trying to work things out because I've been working things out for the past 5 years. It's become tiring. Anyway, he got into defense mode right away, basically listing all the things I've done wrong in the relationship and why he's over me. These are the things I've done wrong. 1. I declined to go to Korea last year for vacation. He so badly wanted to go. I knew if I went, I'd be left alone every day because his buddy would have come too. Also, there was a big League of Legends tournament happening at the same time, so he would have been doing League of Legends related things and mentally masturbating to the cosplayers all the time while I explored the city alone or hung out in a hotel. I said I wasn't interested in going. He got huffy but eventually got over it, or so I thought. 2. I changed my appearance even though I knew he liked women with long brown hair. I decided to cut my hair fairly short and bleach it blonde not too long ago. It was time for a change anyway, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. He was not. 3. I always refused to wear revealing clothing. He'd constantly badger me about how I don't wear enough stuff that shows off my tits and legs. I'm fairly modest and I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm more comfortable in a t-shirt and jeans. He'd want me to wear a sundress and plunging tank tops. I always said no. 4. My birthday gift this year was a pair of those giant wraparound headgear. I don't know what they're called. All the Twitch streamers are wearing them, but he spent a fairly good amount of money on them. Which sounds sweet I guess, but I had originally complained that my old headphones suck and I need new ones for the gym. He got me these bulky ones and got upset that I don't wear them much. He asked me in the past to wear them, put my hair in pigtails and wear revealing clothing around the house while wearing my glasses. I'm not even kidding. This guy is a major stereotype. 5. I didn't play League of Legends and I didn't enjoy sitting on the couch watching him play hours of League of Legends. I don't know how to play the game. I tried numerous times. I suck. I didn't enjoy myself. Why would I keep at it? 6. And I was not open-minded about anything. This is pertaining to the situation in the original post. I'm not open-minded enough about being his fleshlight, so this hurts his feelings too. I'm not accepting of his kinks, which is a total fucking lie because I've already agreed to do some pretty out there stuff in the past to appease him. I'm very open-minded about sex. I would have appreciated a forewarning about the Twitch girl joining us in bed though. 7. I don't get along with his friends. I tried to. So hard. I tried to relate to those guys like you wouldn't believe, but they all literally have zero social skills. They're awkward and blatantly ignored my existence whenever I was around. They'd start talking about things they're interested in and just disregard anything I ever said. They'd invite him to board game nights, asking if I'd be going too, like they don't want me there. I was pretty much an outcast, so no, I tried. They just didn't want me to be around. So in conclusion, I told him I was done. He didn't react dramatically. I think he's done with the relationship too. He can watch all the Twitch he wants now and play League of Legends for 23 hours of the day. That must be quite a relief. I'm going to the apartment to pick up whatever I can later. I'm staying with my parents until I find a new place. I feel oddly calm and okay with how everything's gone down in these last couple of days. This is almost a relief. Thanks everyone. Commenter replies to OP saying, "Are you kidding? I play video games and I want to kick the crap out of him. If you ever talk to him, tell him some loony on the internet says, 'You're the reason women don't like gamers, asshole.'" And another commenter says, "That whoosh sound. That was the bullet you just dodged. Wait, he's 28. Oh hell no. You're so much better off without him." And a lot of people just commenting that she put up with this for 5 years. That is just absolutely grim, isn't it? This dude, the thought of him, and I didn't want to imagine this, but the thought of him having this tablet and then thinking, "Oh, I'm just going to pop that on the side there and watch that while we get it on." It's just fucking wild, isn't it? Gee bloody whiz. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.